Nolan, it's really good to see you. Today we are talking proactive planning for 2023 and four key resolutions. 2022, I don't have to tell you or anybody this, was a brutal year for investors. And 2023 is sure to be challenging, but there are some action steps that we can take now to set ourselves up for success. So we're going to talk through those resolutions. And first on your list here is rebalance. Why is that so important?
Well, thanks, Erin. Well, rebalancing is one of the most important things that you can do when planning for retirement. Rebalancing for some folks means doing a whole lot of things to your portfolio, but simply when you rebalance, it's giving yourself a little dose of a reality check with what you currently have. You can rebalance systematically, you can rebalance during economic events, but it is important just to rebalance over time. And what you're doing when you rebalance a portfolio is you're essentially saying, well, what is the mix of risky versus safe assets that I have in my portfolio currently? Is my portfolio too risky for what I'm trying to accomplish, or is it not risky enough? And what changes need to be made? And you can see with this illustration that we have right here, when you rebalance a portfolio over a 30-year period, you maintain a stable risk level. So you're within your risk tolerance. You don't typically get too aggressive or too conservative because you're doing periodic checks.
Okay.
Whereas the second piece right here shows an increasing risk level over time. The portfolio is never rebalanced. And we have a general understanding that stocks grow faster than bonds and would grow much faster over a 30-year period. So it's good just to maintain a checks and balances as far as what risks you're taking in your portfolio.
Okay, number two on your list here. This is actually number one on my list, my personal list, Nolan. Pay down debt and lower expenses.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why to do this, but I think it's just to free up cash flow each month. The less debt you have, the less expenses you have, the more money you take in, and that provides a benefit during good and bad economic times. One thing that we notice is as the federal government continues to raise interest rates, saving is becoming a little bit more lucrative, but borrowing is becoming a little bit more prohibitive. And so when you see borrowing rates going up, you need to be poised in a way that you are not subject to those high rates if you need to take out new debt. And part of that is paying down old debt. So new debt is more expensive, less debt or old debt is less expensive. And so it is important at least to look at that and see if it would be a good year to pay down some of that you might have.
Right. And number three here, keep saving for retirement. This is something that, right, is always important, but kind of difficult during these moments of high inflation.
Yeah, especially because the next $5, $10 you have is buying a dozen eggs, literally
Right.
at this point, right? So how do you save for retirement when everything is getting so expensive? It doesn't need to be as much as you always have saved, but it still is important to put money away for retirement, even during bad economic times. You're buying at a dip, you're buying once stocks and bonds are decreased in price, and you're also just saving for the future. The illustration that you just brought up, which just shows contribution limits year to year, just shows that each year, typically we're able to put away a little bit more year over year than we were the year prior. And that's the case for 2023 as well. So pause it right here if you want to and check out those new 2023 contribution limits. But this is how much you can put into those retirement accounts each year. And if you need any help strategizing which one may be correct for you, please just give us a call and I'm happy to walk you through it.
Right. There definitely is a strategy to that. Number four, this one, very important, often overlooked, I think, Nolan. Very easy to do, though. Update your estate plan and beneficiaries.
And it's so important, and we check it every single time we have people come in for meetings. So
Right.
estate plan beneficiaries, it means different things to different folks, but the big thing that you're looking at is, do I have it set up in a way that somebody else can manage my finances if something happens to me? So usually what that means is you want to have a will, you want to have powers of attorney. So if you are incapacitated or if you are no longer living, your family has a directive for what to do with your stuff. We also like to make sure beneficiaries are up to date during good and bad economic times because family situations change no matter what the markets are doing. So it is important to make sure, number one, that while you're living, everything is done exactly the way you would want if you're incapacitated. But two, that all of your money does pass on to who you want if something happens to you and it's a little worse than that.
Right. Right. This is about taking care of your family in addition to yourself, right?
Right.
Well, Nolan, I appreciate being able to talk through these resolutions. It also helps personally to have a little bit of accountability with it. So if somebody would like to talk through these goals or what resolutions they have, what's the best way to reach you?
So they can call our office at 616-301-2581, and option 1 is our wealth management line. Or they can go to our website, cornerstone-rp.com, and there's a contact us button at the bottom of the homepage.
All right, perfect. Nolan, thank you very much.
Thanks, Erin.